us to, what am I trying to say here? There's a way for us to share this chat with people before we're even on live, but I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I want to do that either, but we'll see. Checking out ontologies. Oops, I almost refreshed this page. That was a wrong one to refresh. We would have. Oh, this is Ontology Australia. Ontology Australia. We're not live streaming there. There we go. We're live on Ontology Network X account. And you would think that I would have all these open already, but I haven't. Let's check the Ontology YouTube channel and just double check, make sure people are tuning in. Yeah, we're live there too. All right. GM, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on another Ontology live stream. It's only been 2 weeks, so hopefully you didn't miss us too much. I know I miss Jeff. Whenever I don't talk to you,
Always.
I miss you a lot. And I'm laughing, but I really do. Jeff has a lot of insights. Jeff, you're a very deep thinker, and you always have some interesting takes. Sometimes hot, sometimes spicy, but very interesting for sure. And then we have Chad, who it's my first time talking to you, but I know you've been talking to Jeff for quite some time. In fact, you hosted a space with Jeff. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? What are you building? What color do you like? Looks like blue.
Yeah. Brilliant. Nice, Humpty. Yeah, nice to chat. Nice to meet you. Um, yeah. So yeah, a bit about me without going too much detail. So got into crypto quite some time ago. Too long ago now, like 2019. Like it goes for some time. Um, I actually started in crypto mining, Ethereum mining. Super fun. And then NFT era. Um, all of that stuff, crypto gaming, and yeah, and then here I am now with PALZ and building PALZ, and yeah, that's it really. Yeah, in a nutshell. Yeah, my favorite color
Red.
is yellow. Um,
Yellow.
yeah,
Well, you know what? Yellow complements blue
absolutely.
nicely. In fact, blue and yellow, Michigan colors. Uh, go Wolverines if you're listening to us from there. I've actually been a fan of the Wolverines. So good team. Um, great. Well, tell me a little bit about, the mining days because, I've been around since 2016. So, mining still was a thing, but I know that mining was probably at least one of the bigger narratives from 2012 through maybe 2016.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I can't remember the dates exactly, but when I started it, it was before the big Bitcoin Ethereum boom during the Christmas time. I think it was 2019, 20. I can't really remember. So it was getting ready for Christmas, and I remember talking to my dad about it at the time. Um, and we were about to do it all, and then suddenly it all crashed. So then we're like, okay, let's not do this anymore. Um, and then I went on with my life. I moved to Vietnam, where I'm still at the moment. Um, and then, long story short, I woke up one day, and I don't know why, I just seem to have the best ideas on Google News on my phone when I'm scrolling, and I see Ethereum mining again. And then suddenly I just thought, oh, this looks interesting. So I looked at the profitability and everything, and it was just before COVID. So I closed a business in F&B industry because it was such a terrible time. Um, and then I saw the mining and I thought, oh, okay, let's give it a go. And I've never built a computer ever, ever. And in 48 hours, me with another colleague of mine, in 48 hours, we filled up our apartment with mining equipment, like graphics cards, in literally 3 days. And then on the fourth day, we went up and it was all sold out. You cannot find the GPU in Vietnam that wasn't 4 times the price of what it was. So we timed it perfectly, and it worked. And then, yeah, the rest is history. Stayed in crypto since then, pretty much. Yeah, it's really fun actually.
It's really well. First of all, love Vietnam. Wanted to do a callback to that. Was there 2 years ago, right before jumping over to DEF CON in Thailand. Loved it. Had a great time. We'll be going back maybe next year. Um, with that said, this idea of like GPUs, before coming into blockchain, I actually had a startup in the virtual reality space. And
Oh,
so it's
nice.
interesting. If we've been following, apparently graphics card have been key to every industry that has been emergent from virtual reality to mining, crypto to now artificial intelligence. It's wow. No wonder Nvidia is doing incredibly well. They've been well positioned. Maybe they're the ones driving the demand. Who knows? They're innovating all of these things in order so that we can buy their graphics cards.
Yeah, we do all these
Um,
things, Humpty, to be first, right? We're going to be first to crypto, first to VR. We should have just been first to Nvidia. That's it. Game over at that point.
Yeah. I mean, look, in hindsight, right? I mean, maybe the trad traders were doing something that we missed because we were so busy mining and buying shit coins, but whatever. We'll leave that topic for another day. So I did want to talk about the game you're building, which is PALS. But before that, I wanted to, for anyone in our audience who may have been born before the 2000s, maybe before the 90s, you might have heard of this little gadget called Tamagotchi. And I know my generation knows it very well. In fact, I collected a few. I know my sister and my cousin, they were all into collecting some more girl branded Tamagotchis. But at the end of the day, this is little eggs that you had to maintain through feeding them on a schedule and cleaning them and playing with them, and all these interactions were then part of that experience that allowed them to grow and thrive. And if you didn't, well, then you didn't have a Tamagotchi for very long. You had to hatch a new one. So, is that the inspiration for PALS? Like, did you connect that story and said, "Hey, what does this look like in the digital age, or how does this look like in the crypto age?"
Yeah, pretty much. I myself played Tamagotchi. I can't remember which generation one, but it was yeah. I loved it. I loved it. I had it in my pocket. I remember in school, I had to hide it and buffer the noise. If not, it would beep. So I had to hide it and yeah, feed it under the table. Like I loved the Tamagotchi. I absolutely loved it. And also, there's another one which I'm not sure if if it wasn't. It was quite popular in England. I'm not sure how popular it was around the world. It was Nintendogs on the Nintendo DS game, where you had these little dogs and you had to feed them. You had to throw them toys and things like that. So it's a kind of like a hybrid of both of these systems, where you need to go every day. You need to feed them, take care, have fun with them, play with them. Um, and all of this on chain. And also, we've added some other kind of arcade style, hyper casual gaming style mechanics. So it's not just easy things to take care of them. It's also, okay, there's some more competitive games, tower defense, and some other mini games that we have as well, in order to create some more competition, um, and in order to get more engagement as well. But yeah, that is exactly the idea. Is this Tamagotchi, this time based, the routine, and the real habit of okay, I wake up in the morning, let me feed my Tamagotchi. Let me before I go to bed. Okay, I need to make sure he's fed. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So there's two threads I want to pull on here while Jeff does his best impersonation of Dr. Evil with his cat. Um, one of those was this. Hi, Kitty. I love cats. Was this idea of both the evolution of Tamagotchi to this other platform, right, on Nintendo? That obviously the hardware, you had a lot of limitations on Tamagotchi. I mean, the board must have been smaller than the egg, so there's almost like a very finite number of like things that you can do, obviously. Um, but also in terms of like its distribution and its application, it's limited to just whatever comes in that box. The updates, probably at least in my version, my era, were very limited because there was no USB, capability for you to upload any updates. But as you progress and you're looking at these titles that are being released under bigger, more capable platforms, by today's standard, probably not so much, but by a Tamagotchi standard, a lot. What you could fit in a cartridge, the programmability and the ability to create new experiences just increases, right? Like a hundredfold. I'd like to hear from you as a developer of PALS, what your thoughts are as now from that cartridge era of Nintendo to the blockchain era. Obviously, we're looking at probably like a million fold or more progression of what you can do, right? But also the ability to submit something to the blockchain and be able to do it permissionlessly versus previously. Obviously, you have to submit it to Nintendo, and Nintendo has to approve it, and then obviously you're dependent on the discovery engine that is Nintendo, and maybe your own salesmanship and marketing that you can do in conferences. What does that all look like to you as the developer of something that, is a game, has evolved, but now the distribution looks so different?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I think that's why people really like these old school games as well, is because they did so much with so little hardware and and specs, but it is quite kind of incredible. Like, even people, they build full OS systems, and the first thing they do is, oh, can I play Doom on this, right? So it's very, like, it's quite impressive how it was done. And then we move forward to how things progressed, right? We had a huge, I'd say, mobile gaming wave, with these hyper casual games. So we had, the Fruit Ninja, Subway Surfers, and these huge ones, which was, okay, I've got my phone and I want to play something now because I'm waiting for the bus, or I'm bored, I'm sitting here and I want to play something quickly, rapidly on a phone. Even though the specs of a phone, even 10 years ago, or even more now, maybe 12, 13 years ago, were still 100-fold of what the Tamagotchi was. So yeah, just going back to the Tamagotchi and other games back then as well, is the simplicity of it kind of made it what it is, right? Like, a Tamagotchi is so simple. And like you said, once it's programmed, you cannot send a firmware update. You cannot, oh, there's a security update, let me, no, once it's shipped, it's shipped. There's nothing they can change. There's nothing they can do, right? So it's kind of like a perfect pocket thing. And they kind of ticked all of the boxes, so that every kid, every teenager that had one were like, okay, I need to do this, right? The simplicity of it was really magic. Now it's tenfold, right? We have a huge, it's the supply of games, the supply of fun is just, is pretty much as you want. You couldn't play every game that's out there, even though if you paused all the publishing and spent 1 hour per game to the rest of your life, it would just be impossible. There's too many games out there, right? So what we've decided to do is we've decided to take the simplicity of a game, like Tamagotchi of Nintendo's, and mix it with on-chain mechanics, ownership, and real identity metrics that we're going to talk about in a bit, I guess. But all of this in one, to really come back to the basics, but really have something that's really fun, really, I would say, yeah, fun, easy, accessible, and using a real good technology for a good, um, well, for something that's needed, right? It's, you can own your creature, you can, earn points, and all of these are on chain. They can count, like, you know exactly what it is. It's not, I've got my little Tamagotchi here and I'm showing you. It's, oh no, you can see it, right? It's there, and you can see what I've done. You can see my score. You can see I haven't cheated. You see, I haven't done all of this. So it's kind of, it's using the current technologies that we have, with, of course, better gameplay, yeah, better gameplay, a lot more mechanics, and a lot more gamification of it, and being on chain and having the perks of ownership, and identity that comes with it. So yeah, um, that's the kind of what we've taken from the different parts in order to build PALZ.
So I'm just thinking, sorry, Humpty, if I can just jump in, I'm just thinking around that distribution question, right? And I don't know if you've ever distributed in Web 2 for games at all, Chad, but like my thoughts, I remember Nintendo, certainly back in the day, was almost impossible to get anything near Nintendo. They locked things down really hard. Steam used to have their green light, but I think they've cancelled their green light program now. I don't even think that functions in the way it used to. And I wonder how much an advantage blockchain has actually with ease of distribution, not just in terms of getting your game out there without having to jump through 1,000 hoops to get it out there, but also in terms of money sharing, profit sharing, things like that. I know, Apple and Android themselves are really quite harsh on how much they take from cuts on things. I imagine lots of the other gaming platforms are. Is that something you have any experience with, or is that something you can talk about in terms of whether there is a definite advantage with launching on chain as opposed to in traditional environments because of that, both monetization but also access to publishing as well?
Mhm. Um, so I would say, like, traditionally, like what you're saying is right. Like, to get a game on any big console, I mean, already the budget to do it, like, would be just it's just a strong, like, astronomical, well, astronomical, just too much for any small game studio could ever afford to be any like on any of the big platforms. So they kind of always relied on, I'd say, like, yeah, PCs. And nowadays, yes, distribution is easier with App Store and Google Play, but like you said, Humpty, like the fees. I mean, it. To be honest, I mean, I don't like to say it because, yeah, people say, "Oh, thanks to them, we have this and that," but it's too much. It's really huge, the fees, that, that they take, like, really. But yes, there is the distribution on that side, which does help. Steam, yeah, like you said before, it was quite tricky. Now it's quite easy to get on Steam. Epic Games as well, they've loosened it up, dramatically over the past 5 years as well. Um, but yeah, distribution has been one of the main tricky points when it comes to gaming. Web3, I think that it can definitely help because you can, like I've said before, give ownerships to the communities, give ownerships to the players, and if they feel that they're getting something out of it, and it's not just monetary, right? They can say, okay, this is my item, this is my weapon, this is my XP, this is mine, and they're more likely to come back and play it. I'll take the I used to play Habbo Hotel a lot when I was a kid, like loads, well, too much. But yeah, I think they've recently, I think for the last 3 years, they have put them all on chain and they have made NFTs out of it, and things like that. But like, I think that game has phased out a lot over the years. If they had a system like that in place when I was playing, yeah, like that would have been like super great. Like, you could trade it with your friends, you could send it over, and it brings more people to it, and then it kind of like, not decentralizes, but it yeah, it distributes the publication to the community because they want to share it, because they do feel a sense of ownership towards the games. And most indie game developers, or or small studios, as well, um, and people that are really passionate about building games, is they really just want distribution. They want their game to be known. They want people to play it, um, because it's just a win-win situation for everyone. The more people that play it, they can also get more revenue from it. But if you're stopping it already at the distribution level, it's hard to get out. So I do think Web3 definitely helps, can help with with distributing the game around because they have the sense of ownership. Problem is, however, the onboarding can be tricky. It can have a bit of friction, but once they've got over the first hoop, it's it, it, it's definitely a positive. Yeah.
I want us to tap into this idea of ownership, right? Because we keep talking about it, and I think it's important for us to clarify it, both in terms of like what it could mean, what it means now, kind of the different, I guess, systems that are available for us to provide different levels of ownership to people. First and foremost, when we talk about ownership on the blockchain, just briefly, what does that mean? And either one of you can take it, obviously, but what does that mean for someone who's a gamer and is playing something that is backed on the blockchain? What does ownership mean for someone? How do they like create an account? How does that account manage their creatures, right, and their assets? And then how do they truly have ownership over the things that they're using in game?
Yeah, so just if we take it in the general perspective, on PALS, we are still discussing what they can own, what they can trade, what they can do. Just because, in terms of game economy, um, it's better to keep it, I'd say, as simple as possible with at least like don't enable trading straight away, because once you enable trading, it just changes the whole game economy, and then the levels change, how many points you get, XP. It's quite complicated. We do believe definitely one day we will put the like PALs themselves on chain. At the moment, it's you own it, it's yours from your wallet, but it's not transferable yet. Just in brackets before I answer. But ownership can mean a lot of stuff, right? It's you own it, you have access to it, but also what you can do with it. You can transfer it, you can share it, you can lend it, you can sell it, you can not use it if you don't want to. You can send it to yourself and not touch it for 10 years and come back and it's still here. No one can ban it. Well, they could in the code, of course. They can just like this NFT is not allowed in the game, like if they wanted to. But in the goodwill of things and how it's seen, it's yeah, they cannot ban it. Um, and I think this is super important for gamers and super important for ecosystems as well, because I mean, gamers spend hundreds, even thousands of hours playing, um, but their account can get banned like this. If they have, I used to have a golden AK-47 on Call of Duty 4. That meant a lot to me, a lot, and I will never see that again. You know, if I had, not even an NFT, but if I had a digital item where I could see it, I can go through my phone, I can, hey son, I had a golden AK-47. You didn't have that, right? Like, it's just something that it's why can't we own digital items, right? Like digital items are everywhere. Like we spend, well, I spend 80% of my day in front of a TV screen. Well, TV screen, a computer screen. I wish TV screen, computer screen, um, doing stuff, digital stuff. Well, why can't I own it? And I think it is changing as time goes. But yeah,
I
yeah,
think on
go on.
top of that, guys, I think on top of that as well, just on this ownership thing. So um, I used to play a game, right? It's a very niche game. It was called Pox Nora. I played this game for about 3,500 hours during the peak period I was playing it, which is a long time to be playing a single game. During one of the seasons, I actually finished in the top five globally. Now, that sounds like a big brag. There was about 500 people playing this game. It wasn't many. Now, here's the deal though. Like, I spent a lot of money. So if you picture this game, it's like a trading card game meets like tabletop Warhammer style gaming and things like this. I spent a lot of money buying expansion packs, buying rare cards on the open market, trading cards, all these different things. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this game. The development team eventually stopped releasing updates. They stopped fixing bugs. They stopped doing patches. They stopped the nerfs. And all of a sudden, you're left with several different armies you could play the game with, several different cards, but there's no real game. There's no advancements. There's no change. So I actually think ownership, at its heart for me, why it's important is I think it's got a symbiotic relationship with composability. Now, if I had ownership of all those armies, if everybody who ever played had ownership of those cards, ownership of everything, and it was there, it makes composability much, much easier for somebody to come in and just link to that, link to the NFTs, link to however they are on chain, and actually build around them. And you can just bring your cards with you. And I think that longevity of what you own, that longevity of what you've been involved with in the things you love, the things you care about, if people can build on top of that, I think there's a direct relationship with ownership and composability within gaming that actually opens up lots of opportunities moving forwards for people.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly that, and as well, um, like the player acquisition costs in Web2 and Web3 altogether, um, very expensive, right? Very expensive, and it's kind of what determines if the game is going to be successful or not. Is how much does this customer cost? What is the lifetime value of this customer? And they're the two main metrics, right? So if there was a way to take players from one game that, okay, well, this player, he spent hundreds of dollars on these packs, and we know exactly his username, we know exactly this type of person. Well, he is a potential very good player, customer, community member for our game. Okay, well, if it was on chain, if it was easily accessible, it could be, oh, okay, well, let's take this player and let's say, okay, well, if you start our game, because we see that you love your gaming and you could be a good gamer and the game is quite similar. And okay, well, you tried this, we're going to give you this pack, this new I don't know, starter pack, adventure pack, or you can try our new game, for example. And I think that because every game has its own ecosystem. What it does is it just opens it up completely. And if the game studio has stopped working on a game, why not open it up and let people build on it? And at least see what people have bought or what they own on it. And the blockchain, it does it kind of automatically. I mean, of course, there are IP licenses, this, that, the other, but if a game was honest and good, and they wanted they want to do good for the people that played their game, then they should just open it, right?
Yeah, and I think we're getting to an interesting point of the conversation where, we can start talking about some of the other specs or standards that allow us to create a much more dynamic gameplay. One of the things that obviously Ontology is recognized for, and one of the things that is personally most exciting for me about Ontology is their identity stack, right? So they have created tooling that allows for you to, for anyone really to use it so that they can create these identities that work across different platforms. I'm wondering if we can discuss, even if it's just briefly, what are some opportunities that excite us about using things like OntID when it comes to gaming in this case? What are some things that we can imagine, if not already being developed, that these type of systems enable us to do with our games? Because again, these are independent, or should I say agnostic, of blockchains, right? So it allows for this more multi-platform experience that is seamless. Any thoughts with this?
Yeah. Um, yeah. So there's yeah. So two key things. Sorry, that come with a crypto game and comes with a blockchain game and ownership of assets. Right. One is ownership we talked about, and another one is permissionless. Right. Um, Permissionless, and even though they don't come together. They are two very different things. But in the blockchain kind of tech, we kind of just put them up together, right? So having ownership means also you can do whatever you want. You have the permission to do so. But with having open permissions in your game, open permissions in your assets and everything, it does also open a can of worms, especially when money is in play, and these things can have monetary value because they're automatically traded, right? So what does this do? But it automatically brings in people that are going to come and farm the game. They're going to come and just play. They're not really going to bother with the stuff. They're just going to farm, extract it, and then walk away. So they're not really valuable people to have, even though I mean every game has bots. Even FIFA football had bots playing, right? That they exist. Um, but so ownership, permissionless, and where OntID comes in is because is very good because it helps with the permissionless side of it, which is yes, we can keep it permissionless, we can keep all of the positives that blockchain gives us, but we have the ability to have a look and say, okay, these are the types of users, and we're going to have a look at these different data points that are important for us, and we're going to, I'll just say, reward or promote or help guide and give more to these players because, for example, we know that they have this, for example, this humanity score, or they have this other data point that we value, and then we can give them more rewards. We can, um, and we're not scared to because we know that they are individual people. Um, I've run some marketing campaigns, for example, where I think I said to you, Jeff, the other day about it actually. Some marketing campaigns where we sent out like 40,000 US dollars to something like, I can't remember how many wallets, I think it was like 20, I don't know, 10,000 wallets, something ridiculous. And this was going on month to month, right? So $40,000 a month, even sometimes it'll be more than one campaign a month, right? And then a community member once sent something in the chat, and I think it was something like 95% of every single dollar was all linked to this one wallet because he just created hundreds of thousands of wallets in order to extract it and then dump it. And yeah, that was the marketing campaign. Great. Well, if there was a system where we could see, okay, well, this person has done this check, this person has done this thing, this thing, this thing. We are very confident that it's 95% a human. We're giving that person, let's say, $1,000 of this or that. If we know that they're a big gamer, we know that they're real, then it's good. So it also helps you to direct as well these different things. And it's yeah, not just monetary stuff but also in-game stuff as well, because having people farm and use assets, it also does extract from the game. So using an identity layer like ontology like really helps for this problem, because it is a problem. It's a huge problem for Web3 games. Is a really good solution for it. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is also worth pointing out with Ontology's DID that I think is interesting to me when it comes to gaming, because I know Jeff and I have had this conversation in the past, and that is the idea of like building up reputation, right? So there is the identifier, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the boring parts of DID, right? Because it's a two-part system. Then the other is the verifiable credentials. So the things that you can actually start to build up on this identity. And so reputation building, I think it's hugely important across a wide variety of like sectors and industries. The financial markets is probably one of the most well documented examples of how, you know, the ability to earn a reputation as a good borrower and kind of a steward of funds can then unlock, either better rates or additional, features and perks with these financial systems. But in gaming, there is an ability to like up level, and provide new experiences to people who are avid users of the platform, right? If you're consistently building, if you're consistently supporting even potentially the development by participating in the community in some way, there's a way for you to have this identity tied to some additional benefits that are enabled only to a very small group of users, which, from my experience, both as a developer, a community builder, and even a user of these platforms, I recognize the value of these limited experiences for a small group of people. That's definitely what like draws people to want to, kind of keep using and building something. And, in the long run also supports with, reducing the churn of users that are coming through because they're finding value beyond maybe the experience that anyone else is having with the game as well. Any thoughts on this? Or Jeff, if you wanted to add anything else, I know you and I have had tons of conversations on this.
Yeah, and I think what's really nice about this is I enjoy solutions that allow for two-way wins, right? And I think it goes in both directions, which is really important. One, if a gamer, I want to be recognized for the things I've done. I want to be recognized for everything I've done. I'll give you another story about my gaming life. Back in the day, I used to play far too many. This was dial-up, right? I used to have set an alarm on my alarm. It wasn't even a phone back then. I used to have set an alarm to tell me that my connection was going to disconnect because it only stayed connected for 2 hours before I had to dial up to get back online. And I used to play a game called Anarchy Online, which was wonderful, wonderful game. So Funcom, if you know Funcom, do things like World of Conan and things like that. Anarchy Online was one of their first games, absolutely fantastic. And I played a lot, and eventually, God, so nerdy, right? I was invited to be like somebody who onboarded new players into the game, so I had a special character and I could teleport around the game with these commands, and that was great. But it was really hard to build up that sort of reputation in the game and so on to be invited to do it. And of course, it was also a risk for Funcom to invite me to go and do it because, how I would behave in that role was unknown until they put me in it. And actually having that ability for everybody to win, so you understand how a player behaves and you can give them opportunity and that player can then deliver value to you. Chad, you mentioned cost of acquisition earlier. It's all linked to this cost of acquisition, especially with airdrops. And I've said many, many times, like, people are going to sell airdrops, right? They are. Maybe not every single part of it, but they're going to sell a chunk of it. That's known. That's okay. What I'm interested in is what do they do afterwards? What do they carry on to do? Do they carry on in being involved in the game? Do they carry on contributing in other ways? Do they maybe buy back after the peak of the airdrop and so on, and they get back involved? And do they take part in governance? That all matters. That is all important. And I don't think we always capture it. I don't think we always get hold of it. And so reputation, I think, is so very important, and identity allows for that. And just to go back to what you were saying again, Chad, I mean, that Sybil resistance as well. But not just that, but also understanding our users. Like, if you're marketing, the more you understand a user, the better your marketing can be, right? And so if you can see what sort of games people play, how many hours they play, what do they spend on, what do they stay for, what do they leave, and all these different things, the opportunities to really segment that market and do better marketing for everybody, right? I like good marketing towards me. We often will go, oh, I hate being marketed towards. It's not true. Good marketing we like. It's only bad marketing we don't like.
Yeah. I really like the good marketing, bad marketing thing. Um, I go back to my Google News feed, which has been my my North Star. It just knows me perfectly. Like, it knows me perfectly, and it just, yeah, it finds these little things, and I think, yeah, it is that. It's not just about protecting um, users. It's not just about cost, but yeah, it's also finding out, yeah, who the gamers are, and it could be region, right? It could be a certain country or place. It could be a certain age group. It could be pretty much anything. And these type of things on games, yeah, they're quite tricky to get. Um, like, even well targeted Facebook ads, like they don't you can't aim that specifically when it comes to like gamers. I mean, you can on age, you can on these other certain things, but um, on the blockchain, it does give us other aspects, from what NFTs do they hold, what tokens do they hold, how active are they? Has their wallet been active every day for the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Well, a Facebook ad, you don't know how many times they've bought items, and you don't know what they've bought. Um, so having all this on-chain stuff that you can see, and also um, yeah, other stuff as well through DID, which is zero proofed, right? So it's not exactly what, but you know that they have done it, achieved it, is a real plus as well. Um, so yeah, having these two things is a real yeah, it's a real advantage for games. It really is.
I wonder if we could talk a little bit more deeper and maybe a little bit more tangibly about some different reputation building opportunities in the PALS game. Like, I mean, I don't know if you're using this already. So, I mean, if you are, great. If not, let's consider this like a little bit of a brainstorm. What are some things currently in the gameplay that you think would translate well for like a reputation building experience that then potentially unlocks some sort of like feature set or new level or what name you?
Yeah, so at the moment, um, we have the core mechanics in place, so we know how a player levels up, how often he feeds, the PALS. So I think in terms of reputation, there are a few things that we could um, add in terms of DID. Like I believe if someone's taking care of his PAL for like 2 months non-stop, um, it does require a certain level of dedication. It's not anyone that's going to wake up and he's going to play the PAL. He's not going to play the game. He's going to be playing all the mini games. He's not going to skip one day. Like for me, it's something strong. And also, we are also going to be adding quests within the game as well. And these are going to be on chain, off chain. Um, we have a good idea of what we want to do with the quests, um, but yeah, we're still going to add, tweak. We still haven't put it all together yet, but it's coming. So also, I think participation in those quests as well would really get a good idea on um, in terms of reputation. Um, I really believe, yeah, especially someone that comes very often deserves to have a strong reputation.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Chad, sorry, is like we spoke about that opportunity around partners being able to get involved and launch skins on chain and on the game and things like this and add-ons and that enables users and enables pals, I guess, to really push users to go and try new things as well. We're always trying to get people to try things in Web3 and practice doing stuff. So it also enables users, gives them an excuse, if you like, to go and do things, to go and try things. And so you might see a user who's gone, okay, there was a partnership with such and such a platform and they got this skin, and there was a partnership with this platform and they got that add-on and so on. And that enables people to build reputation, right? That gives them that opportunity, which I think is also important.
It, yeah, yeah, and I'm laughing because it reminds me of um, I'll go back to it. It reminds me the other day I went to the shop. My wife loves Hot Wheels, right? She loves Hot Wheels cars. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she loves Hot Wheels, right? And I saw a Hot Wheel and it was, the Monopoly car, um, Pass Through Go. And straight away I was like, we're getting that. Like, it was just, these two things were together. And it was like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, cool. And he was trying to open it. Like, no, you're not opening that. That's just my one. You cannot open that. That's the Monopoly Hot Wheels car, right? And the reason why I say it is because it's like it's some of these matches that they just match, right? So if someone's playing pals and then suddenly there's an opportunity that we will partner with um, with I don't know, let's say another game or a Dex or absolutely anyone. They can go play it and then my pals has a T-shirt in the game with it on, and but that's my favorite. That's my second favorite game. So now I'm going to keep my pals with the new cool game on the T-shirt, and it's going to be representing them. And they've also done the quest as well, so it's kind of like a win-win-win situation. They had the I don't know if you remember Club Penguin. Club Penguin, the online game from is it Miniclip? I think it was from Miniclip. And every week they had this secret skin. You had to go and get it and find it, and you had to go and find it. And every week for I don't know how long, um, I would go on just to find the skin. I used to go on the forums. Where is the skin this week? And then find it, and then go get it. But it was a thing because I could own it, right? And it was kind of a sense of ownership. So I would do the quest, I would get it, and then in my inventory I'd have all the skins for Christmas and all of the other ones, and it just gave a really cool thing. And it's a kind of a similar vibes we want to have as well, which is yeah, you go, you discover, you go on a quest, and then you come back, and then you have something to show for it. Yeah.
I think that's one of the cool things about provenance, right? And blockchain does an incredible job at time stamping everything. So, it doesn't need to look like a Christmas sweater for you to know that that was something that was collected during the Christmas season, right? Because the blockchain will be sure to let you know that it was collected on December 25th, wherever you live around the world. So I think that's a really interesting thing too that like blockchain enables. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask because, I mean, along with crypto, another emergent space that's growing alongside it and quite rapidly is AI. Any thoughts what AI, could look like within the game of PALS? I know that you're deep in the weeds right now building one thing, but I'm sure you've considered it being a curious developer building a fun game.
Yeah, no. AI is absolutely crazy. I've been deep in AI for a good year now, but the last 4 months, 5 months now, time is ticking. Um, it's just been absolutely insane. So in terms of game development, um, development, it's been quite interesting. So as the founder team, we use AI for absolutely everything. Um, However, there are a lot of developers that are still taking time to adapt to it, to use the tools, to push the tools. Um, and it does require a certain skill set to use them, especially when you've been using the same tools for 7, 8, 9 years. It is quite hard. And actually, I did a lot of calls with game developers in the last year, looking for people to work on the game and all sorts. And I think, sorry, I will answer the question. I'm just gonna cover the first bit. I think I was actually genuinely really surprised on how little a lot of game developers actually use AI, especially now with the advanced tools. However, a good, well, a good, I'd say, yeah, a friend of mine who I worked with in the past. He's a really great guy. Yeah, he was part of the core team of Subway Surfers, on the core 8-person team, and he's one of the most talented game developers ever. Now he has his own gaming studio and he builds games. And I asked him about it. I said, like, how do you use AI in your company? And he just said to me, he said, yeah, like I've enforced it to all my employees to use it. They're using the MCP with it, and that they're all using it. It's an absolute game changer. So it is indeed really good game developers are really using it in terms of development itself. Um, but like I said, a lot of teams and a lot of game developers are still a bit behind in terms of adopting it. Like that's 100% true. Um, and then we go back to the AI within the game. What we really want to do at some point. So of course, focusing on the launch, focusing on public launch, focusing on getting all of the aspects ready, on all the levels ready, so it's ready to really go through time. But at one point, um, hopefully this year, there will be, because now there's a lot of local memories that are very good as well. So we're able to keep memories locally on devices and to have a lot of really cool systems in place, right? So what we would love to do is to really have a memory from your pals. So your pals, he knows when you forgot him. He knows the days you were playing with him, and he doesn't forget. So at one point, we would like to have a kind of, let's say, semi chat, right? And your pal could get angry with you, for example, or he might send you a notification on a Saturday and says, "Oh, don't forget me this Saturday because last Saturday you were da, 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 da." So yeah, this is something that we have thought about it, and it is tech that is practically possible at the moment, but we're still waiting until we push it all out and then see where the technology will be in terms of the AI in say 3, 4 months, and then we will see what is available there that we could use. But yeah, definitely like in terms of like a player retention, um, yeah, like absolutely insane. Like imagine your pal sending you a notification on a Friday night saying, "Hey, yeah, I know you're out, but can you feed me, please?" Like it just brings a new like a 4D attachment to your PAL that we've never seen before in gaming. So yeah, I am super excited. Um, and in terms of game development, I believe the quality, the vastness as well. Like 3D now, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'd say um, it's a lot easier and faster to build like extremely big 3D maps. It's yeah, it's another level. Sorry, I go on a bit. Even for stuff like music, right? So before we would send like a few scope musics to he's a artist producer. I don't really know what he does, but he's a cool guy that yeah, he does all the sounds, and then he'll send us one or two sounds that we use throughout the game, right? Which is great. Um, but now we have AIs that can do it. Plus, we can do a music for every mini game. I can do a music for the morning, the afternoon, the evening, every single um, button, every single thing. Whereas before, wow, that would take at least like 2, 3 months of one guy um, doing these sounds. It just wouldn't be possible. So now what we're doing, instead of having two songs for the game, well, I think I did like six last week, plus all of the little buttons and all of the little aspects that it brings more life to a game, which before, unless you had someone totally dedicated towards it, it wouldn't be possible to go to this level of details within the game itself. So that's a really big plus for yeah, small game studios. The quality is really really pushing forward. Yeah.
Well, Chad, we've reached the top of the hour. I mean, we appreciate you coming on. This has been a fun chat. Definitely learning a lot about PALs, and I think definitely reminiscing on some of our favorite games, and looking forward at some of the opportunities that blockchain, DID, and even AI potentially can unlock for game development. Any last words before we tune down or tune out?
Yeah, on my side, again, yeah, if anyone's listening and would like to learn more, please join us. Join the Telegram group. We are still testing before we launch the closed beta in a few weeks' time. We recently launched two new activities: tug of war and garden hose, which is super cool. We also upgraded tower defense game a little bit, so it's a bit more competitive and not so long. So yeah, if anyone would like to join it and yeah, give it a try, it's yeah, super fun.
Amazing. All right, Jeff, anything else before we sign out?
Just because I like to give things away in terms of bit of alpha for people. Just get ready, people, in terms of get your Onto wallet ready, get your ability to link your Steam accounts ready, and there might be some cool giveaways and things going on pretty soon. So yeah, get yourselves ready.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Chad. This has been a wonderful conversation. And yeah, to stay tuned. Sounds like some wonderful news is going to be revealed in the near future. So it's been really great to have this conversation. To everybody who tuned in, thanks so much. And yeah, catch some clips later on the Ontology X and YouTube. Till then, we'll see you next time.